Hey there, it's your best friend Neil. This is March 13th in the evening, and I'm going to show the new Fancy Video Transcription. Now, what you can do if you have the code locally is you can just run these yourself, so they're just in the bin directory, so make sure to add that to your path, and any job is that which ends in .sh, and the name has to only have alphanumeric and dashes in it. So anything that doesn't have that is considered a helper script and not accessible by the API. So I'm just going to show really quick. If I do Fancy Video Transcription and paste in a YouTube link, and this is for really local development, it will download the YouTube video and do the full processing for Fancy Video Transcription. And in this case, the video that I'm using is the audio transcription video that via email that I sent out, I think that was yesterday. And so this allows you to test it locally. You'll notice it creates things in a temp directory. And if you specify a YouTube video or a local file or a local directory, it works through just temp URLs as well. So you'll still be able to access this, so we can go ahead and pop over to the web thing and see the assets being created, but they're not associated with any video object. No VID is really created or used. But otherwise, other than that one small detail, everything else is exactly the same. So this is what gives us the ability to debug this really quickly locally. And because everything is broken down into helper scripts, you can try each of these things yourself. So creating a palette is a helper script, extracting the frames, creating the thumbnail. I haven't made this into a helper script, but it will be there. Extracting the audio transcription, and then the Fancy Video Transcription is below this. So if all goes well, you'll see it end with the URL of the Fancy Video Transcript. Great. Now when we're on production, we can go ahead and pick a file like we normally would. Let's just pick a different one. How about this one? I guess it's one click, not two. And then in job, we'll say Fancy Video Transcription. And we did this with transcribe, so there's no difference here. And so what this will do is it'll create a job. So if you look under the jobs map, there'll be a jobs map. And because I'm on the iPad, I can't display the JSON nicely in developer tools because there are no developer tools. But here we've created the job as we normally would. And now there'll be an elapsed time. So as the job runs, we'll be able to see that elapsed time increase and measure it. And you'll notice that on cold start, the elapsed time is much higher, up to like a minute. Whereas if it's not a cold start, the jobs will run much faster. And even though no logs are coming through yet, because they do get collected on the server, you will notice assets starting to get created. So in this case, we can see the palette has been created, and that's for generating the thumbnail. So if we refresh this again, we'll probably see the thumbnail. And the audio speech transcript has already been created. And so again, we can just access these by looking at that asset. That's funny. The audio transcript, great. And when you're on the cloud, you can check out Cloud Run Jobs, and you'll see the job running. So then you can diagnose the configuration. Will show the job that's being run as argument, and the video ID, the VID, is the first argument. And then also there's a couple environment variables, so it'll show what user was running the job. And then of course you can look at the logs that are running through. So here it's 39 seconds into GPT Vision coming up with a response. So we're still waiting on that. And while we're waiting on that, if you going over to usage, we'll be able to see this is the model we're using for Vision, GPT-4 Vision Preview. And then audio, there's transcription seconds here. And that's pretty much all we're using at this point. And from what I can tell, it looks like a 40-second video costs maybe 10 cents. And so if you were to do, let's say a video costs 10 cents. If we want to do 100,000 videos, it's still going to cost us $10,000 through this model, which is not ideal. But I do have some ideas for making that a little better. And the Gemini models I've been testing out, so we'll be able to use those. And those are much, much, much cheaper than OpenAI's models and do a pretty darn good job. So here, the logs are complete. You can see that the final log is, or second to last log, because the final log is what the exit code was, will be the URL, the transcript, but you can just look at the assets in the object and we see transcript.txt there. And so the final thing we want to look at is that, and we have the final fancy video transcript. Now at this time, I'm not hiding any of the thoughts that are coming through, and partly that was just rough draft and partly it's debugging, but once I get the prompt down, I'm going to use JSON mode so you won't see the chain of thought at the top. But this is what the model is thinking and how it comes up with this. That chain of thought does require a little bit of extra cost because those tokens cost something, but at the same time, by having those, it has much better output. So now we get a nice summary at the end. We have scene by scene transcript as well as just a summary at the bottom, which is great. And there you have it.